Good morning. This is Ruben Lowing. It's Sunday, and I'm about ready to get ready for church here. Last night, on Joel Osteen had a Facebook Live of his Saturday night service, and at the very beginning, he had his brother Paul talking, and basically intro a promotion with their health and fitness minister. I guess that's what they called him, and nutritionist. So this guy gets up and he's talking about, that our body is the temple of God, and we need to take care of our bodies. And he says the exercise that you should do are the ones that you enjoy. And I'm like, oh, so I've been struggling because, especially since I read the Bible, last year in depth, and whatever I'm doing that's not God's not part of it is the wrong direction. Okay, and I like to hit the heavy bag. It's something I'm good at, and I know what it feels like to do it right, and when you have the right range and you're using your body mechanics right, you can tell by the sound and the feel of your punches on the bag, right? And you can tell when somebody's not at their optimum weight because they're not the way the way that they're hitting the bag. They're getting up, their balance is off, right? So all those things you can that you learn about yourself when you're hitting the bag. And I'm doing things different now than I did back when I was actually fighting. Like if you're watching my videos, I'll throw a right hand, I'll shoot to the right, and I'll throw another right hand, or I'll throw a left hook and I'll shoot to the left, I'll throw another left hook. I never did any of that when I was competing. I've had guys do it to me, and so there's Pastor Clark commented that he, in his service that they saw me, hitting the bag, and I'm like, as a kind of gave me a green light. Okay, so I do it 2 or 3 days a week, but it's something I really enjoy doing, and it makes me feel good about me, right? After I have a good session in the heavy bag, somebody can't come at me all frowny face and critical. It just doesn't. It's like I got Teflon on, right? So then the lady gets on. She's a nutritionist, and she's promoting the green leafy vegetables, the not processed food, right? And it made me think of the Daniel fast, right? I wasn't thinking the Daniel fast was going to be that challenging for me. First couple days, not drinking coffee, I was kind of lethargic, had a headache, and but the benefit of that is I don't have joint pain anymore, and so I'm not drinking coffee no more. Now I found out also that coffee has more chemicals and pesticides on it than anything else that you eat. There's these certain kinds of coffee, Brita coffee, and they're going to start having it at Reuben's Grocery on 20th and Gumwood, like the first week of February, they're going to have this organic coffee, okay, all ground and everything. And they got organic coffee now, but it's not ground, but they'll grind it for free, okay. And it's expensive. It's about $15 for a bag of coffee, which is like over twice as much as you pay for the store brand at HEB, right? Oh, and there's like twice, so it's actually like 4 times as much. If you really need coffee, that's a better coffee. And there's so much when it comes to our food. 60 years ago, after World War II, they, actually longer than that, oh my goodness, about 80 years ago, a long time, the munitions, people made bombs for the war. They were like, oh no, we're out of business. And like, no, we'll use the nitrogen for fertilizer. Well, it's the wrong kind of fertilizer. It actually depletes and draws out the vitamins and the nutrients out of our soil and the plants that we eat. So you got to eat like 8 times more produce now than you did 60 or 80 years ago. Hence the obesity crisis in the United States. And the there's actually now there's a lot of effort trying to remediate the effects of this chemical called NPK, nitrogen potassium phosphate. It's a petroleum-based product. Okay, and there's all kinds of other negative effects, like when it rains, it'll rain and it'll run off into the streams, and it causes the plankton and the algae to super grow. That's what's going on in the Midwest. In the summertime, they'll have these algae blooms, and they're affecting the drinking water, right? Well, it's because of the fertilizer running off from the farms. And in the oceans, it causes the plankton to super grow, and it dies real quick, and it sucks all the oxygen out of the water. So if anything can't swim away, it dies. So there's huge dead zones all over the oceans from the runoff from these chemical fertilizers. Well, they've started actually a new technique is to punch holes in the ground and putting the fertilizer in the holes in the ground, right? And then the other is a different kind of fertilizer, and it's the byproduct of these super bugs, this in the ocean, this microbes that will actually digest sweet crude and convert it into this super nutrient-filled, protein-based compound that the natural microbes love, all right? And it'll cause an extra growing season in the plants, or an extra growing cycle, and increase production, and it's more nutrients in the produce or the fruit, whatever's growing makes it better. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of things that were put in place that are detrimental to us. It's back to this old guy sitting on a bus bench back in 2010 when, that had majorly affected me with the mortgage crisis and the economy crashing. And this guy says, we're going through a state of global secular reshuffling. I'm like, what? And he's like, well, I'm a retired sociology and economics professor, and all the systems and that we put in place and been dependent on for decades are not going to work anymore. And like Social Security and the a lot of our financial systems are not going to work, and this is one of them. And so everybody's going to be trying to find a new way, a new path, all right, to a new engine to strap their wagon to take off. And it's going to take a while, and there's going to be an equalization. So the haves are going to come down, the have-nots are going to come up, and and that was 10 years ago, and we're still in that process. Okay, there's a lot of changes going on, and people are slow to change. I see that here in the Valley all the time. People, it takes a lot to make people change and to break out of their paradigm. It's learning. Okay, and people learn. There's a slow way to learn, and that's through repetition. Doing something the same, you do something 21 times until it becomes a habit. It becomes part of your subconscious programming. Okay, then you can make it quicker if you do in meditation or the guided hypnosis. And you can do your own guided hypnosis with do your own hypnosis video, right, or tape, and listen to yourself as you fall asleep at night, right? Then there's of course, there's the trauma. So when you learn things under crisis and trauma, you learn them quicker, right? And but it may not be the right solution for everything. And then there's Psych K. Psych K is when you have an overwhelming, exuberant, positive, emotional catalyst, and you'll learn it right away too, and you'll like it better. So it's when you go to church, right, and you do praise and worship, getting that excitement makes you more open to learning. Okay, so the lessons you learn, the word that you hear from the podium has a greater impact, affecting you quicker if you are in that positive state. Okay, and what's really awesome is when other people around you have their emotions, their positive emotions stimulated. It's coming from their heart, and that energy radiates to like 90 feet away. And when there's more than one person, that's compounded. So that actually causes people to it stirs up your heart energy. Okay. Now I'm come from the military. People want to give you an order, make you do things. It's hard to order somebody to be positive. It just has a detrimental effect, right? And I see pastors try to do it all the time, right? And it's you gotta walk them down the path. Okay, you gotta. There's Bruce Lipton, so he's a he's a neurophysicist or whatever, and he always talks about that crush, that feeling you get when you have when you love a girl, right? And that emotion. So hey, a lot of guys know how that feels, right? And once you start thinking about that and how it felt, and that good feeling you had when you had that feeling to that girl, you start dwelling on it and starts coming. You start being that way you were when you had that. And like the same thing with girls with guys. When they fall in love with a guy, right? So that loving feeling, those stimulates the heart. Okay. And when you have that going on when you're praise and worship, now you're getting there. Now you're into it. Okay. Your heart emotion is risen. Okay. So, and if you want to have, just going back to Joel Osteen's show, right? You want to develop the good exercise and the good eating habits, tie a positive emotion to that. Okay. And you're going to increase your odds. Same thing though, when it comes to reading the scripture. It's part of me now. It's a habit of reading the scriptures for me now. And, reading that certain part, Proverbs 1:26-28, right? I'm like, okay, that is coming from somebody other than Christ. Okay. Because Christ is not going to let you crash and burn. Okay. You repent and you seek him. You seek him intentionally. He'll come into your life. He'll make something happen for you but I've had it happen. I've literally had it like snapping your fingers and the situation change. More time, and it happens quicker the more I understand it. Okay. And that's phenomenal. It's amazing. So now that I understand that, I do it more, and more of those situations happen. All right, I need to get ready for church. Have a wonderful Sunday.